start with Gibson.
Okay.
Tigers let Kirk go
Yeah.
as far as, the broadcasting. So who's the staff now? Like, what's the one kid's name? Is it Benny?
Jason Benetti.
Benetti.
I think
Okay.
he's the main play-by-play guy.
He's the main play-by-play
And
guy.
I think they're going to, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're going to it's going to be like a roving chair. But it was kind of last year, though, because I think Gibson only did 35 games.
Okay. Well, yeah, the reason why I mention this and bring him up is like, Gibby obviously is a part of the organization for a very long time. I think,
and he's going to stay in the organization. Yeah.
But there were a couple of folks that were upset about this. One being Matt Shepard.
Well,
did you hear? They said that they forced him out. The Tigers forced him out of that role.
Gibson, from what I've read and from what I've heard, listening to some other shows, I mean, he's very gracious. He's going to stay in the Tigers organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did hear that.
Whether they forced him out, that's something that I don't know. Obviously, Matt Shepard, he was kind of forced out after the season before, not last season, but the season before when they got Jason Benetti in.
Yeah.
So he might have some kind of angst, but
could be.
Kirk Gibson's a great guy. Great ambassador for the game, especially for the Detroit Tigers. Mm-hmm. Great ambassador for people with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Charlie Kraft, who will be on the show, on the Cohen Bro Opinion Show a little later on. Yeah. He was telling me that, he's got a 6,000 square foot gym or something like that, and people from that have Parkinson's can go there for free.
He's got a foundation,
Yeah. So that's that. I love Gibby. Gibby's a
So let's stay on Gibby. What Gibby's career? What as a player? What would you say about Kirk Gibson? What do you think? How good of a player to you was Kirk Gibson?
I think Kirk Gibson to me was a spark plug. Every team needs that kind of gritty, rah-rah. I mean, he was fast. He was lightning fast. Obviously he wasn't a perennial all-star like Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker and Lance Parrish, or even Jack Morris for that matter. But he was a guy that, he's known for magical home runs, 84, and then 87 or 88 for the Dodgers?
88.
88 for the Dodgers. So, I mean, he's always going to be known for some big clutch home runs, clutch hits. Came out with the Dodgers in that game, and they didn't think he was going to play something. So he's a gritty guy. I love Kirk Gibson. He's always going to be a hometown favorite. I don't think you could say a bad word about him.
Yeah.
He was kind of the wild child, so to speak.
Yeah.
Him and Dave Rozema back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Other than that,
Dave.
they've kept their nose clean.
Yeah.
And they, Rozema's still around today.
Yeah.
With the Tigers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Gibson, he was a good football player too, right?
Yeah.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Tight end.
Yes.
That's kind of when I started getting into college football. But, I thought Gibby was one of those guys that you had to have him on the team. You know what I mean? Like, he was the
spark plug.
Yeah, he was the like the Draymond Green. You know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're
you know
saying.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and he was never scared of the moment.
No.
He was a tough guy, rah guy. I don't think he was a great player. I thought he was a C. I thought he was an average player. He was an average outfielder. I loved it. He would steal bases. I think on that roster, that 84 team, I think him and Lou were like the only one, and Chet, that would actually steal bases. And and I think Gibby even went more than Lou. But yeah, I thought Gibson was just really, really solid and wasn't afraid of the moment. The character, a leader, you know what I mean? Like you say, it wasn't like Lou, Tram, and Jack
Sure.
and Lance, but hard to say if they win without him. You know, he was important to that team. Like, he was a big part of that team. You know, he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't afraid of the moment. You know, the obvious, the Sparky thing in '84. He's got 4. He don't walk you. You know, he was up against Goose. Everybody was just, that was one of the biggest moments in baseball to me.
Sure, absolutely.
And, Gibson stood up, and that was it, So, shout out to Kirk. I just wanted to, talk about him because he was forced out. They said, I don't know. You never know what goes on. Maybe Gibson was tired of it, doing it. I don't know. I think he was doing it for 14, was he with the organization after 15, 16 years?
Something like that, yeah. And it could have been, maybe, I don't know if he was forced out. I mean, I would hate to say that.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. Why?
He could have stepped away. Maybe it was too much with the Parkinson's that he had to be on air and in the broadcast.
Yeah.
Because I know that disease can affect your speech.
Yes.
Having to do that. So
Yes.
it might have been one of those deals. We don't know. But I wish Kirk Gibson all the
All the
best
best.
of luck,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm glad he's still around with the Tigers organization.